My dear brothers and sisters, are you a sticker for rules and laws and norms? And do you catch yourself being critical when other people, in our opinion, start to disregard or dismiss, or even worse, blatantly break these rules and laws that have been set in place? And somehow, we find ourselves in the same place as the Pharisees in today's gospel. They were not bad people. In fact, they were very law-abiding and followed the law so strictly that at times they missed understanding the deeper spirit of the law. And so what they did was they did their due diligence. They did their due diligence and called out what they saw was wrong, in their opinion, according to the letter of the law. It was then Jesus responded and explained why he allowed the disciples to do what they were doing. Jesus then questioned and invited the Pharisees, and indeed inviting us as well, to look deeper and to look beyond just the letter of the law to the spirit of the law, of which he says, "What I want is mercy, not sacrifice." This ties in very well with our first reading today, my dear brothers and sisters. We hear from the book of Exodus on the institution of the Passover sacrifice and how the instructions were given to the people in such great detail, On this day you must do this, and then you must prepare that, and so forth. Everything seems to be laid down step by step. And somehow, we start to get confused because this is juxtaposed by the Gospels, by what Jesus is saying and how Jesus is acting. What I want is mercy, not sacrifice. And so here there is no step-by-step instructions from Jesus on how I should carry out this mercy, or a list of terms and clauses on when and who and in what situation should I employ this mercy, or who should I be merciful to. Jesus left it open, and he leaves it open to our discernment, my dear brothers and sisters, because then that invites us to look and to think deeper, to feel and to understand more profoundly, and indeed to bring us to a greater sense of maturity. Spiritual maturity, but not only that, but mental and emotional maturity as well. In fact, our spiritual and emotional maturity is very much linked and tied and very similar to our physical and mental maturity as well. When we were young, our parents and teachers would dictate things for us. They would decide so many things for us. Decisions were made for us. We had to follow a strict timetable in school. We had to follow what time to sleep at night. But then when we got older and we moved into tertiary education, when we moved into working life, we were not spoon-fed with details anymore. We had to think and make decisions for ourselves. We start to understand ourselves better, to know, what works for us, to know what we struggle with, and we start to be more discerning in our own life choices, in our finances, and all of that. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, regardless of our age, the Lord is inviting us to greater spiritual and emotional maturity, so that we do not just take things or we just criticize things at face value, but really inviting us to become more discerning individuals, which then really moves us to be more understanding and more compassionate, as Jesus re-emphasizes, what I want is mercy, not sacrifice. Let us, my dear brothers and sisters, ask for God's grace to grow in this area that the Lord is inviting us, each of us, through today's readings. Amen.